between? Where have you been?
I feel more confident. In fact, I felt more confident recording episode 3 than I did in episode 1 and even episode 2.
My best episode was the We the People episode.
My favorite episode is actually 20s versus 30s, our 20s versus 30s.
That whole season to me was a reminder. It was like the wake-up call. It was the like, wake up.
I was so looking forward to season 2.
Season 2 is bold. Season 2 is audacious.
I know we are coming back better and stronger. Yeah, cheers to season 2.
Cheers.
Four months ago, we took a leap of faith and began this podcast, the Journey and Feels podcast. And now we are looking back and celebrating the different milestones that we've recorded. Welcome to season 2 of the Journey and Feels podcast. My name is Stella.
And my name is Mwende. As you can tell, we are so excited. Another word that we kept on saying we've used too much, but unfortunately that word captures the emotion that we do have. I mean, to be able to start a second season, we are so grateful. We are looking forward to it. We are happy to be here. And I think the word of today for us is gratitude because, we just know like the journey that it has been for us to get here. So this being the first official episode of season 2, we shall just spend some time, first of all, reintroducing ourselves. We shall do a recap, talk about season 1, how that felt for us. And of course, we shall let you know what to look forward to as we start season 2. So I'll just get started. And Stella, I have a question for you. How are you doing? How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very blessed. It's such a reflective day today because, like I said, 4 months ago, who would have thought that would be here now? Of course, we started not being very sure about what's coming, but yeah, that step of faith, knowing that, we have what it takes. We just need to test it out and leave it out. So yeah, today is like a culmination of that last step that we took and 10 episodes later. So yeah, I'm feeling happy. I feel so much joy in my heart knowing that, we're starting a new season and learning, of course. Yeah, and I know we'll talk about the lessons, but yeah, a key lesson for me is, especially today, that you know what, and we said it, just start, just start. The lessons will be there. It's not going to be easy. There'll be moments where you feel, are we really making sense? But bottom line, start. And then you look back and marvel at how far you've come. So yeah, joy, happiness, reflection, those are the keywords that I'd say. Yeah, yourself?
I think it also captures what I'm feeling. I think for me, to just see that actually we started, nobody died, everything went well. All those things that we were initially, let's say, worried about, either individually or collectively for the podcast. I mean, even if some of those things happened, we overcame them and we moved on quite quick. And I think just what you've said, the just start is so important. And it's just reminding me the need to sort of bet on ourselves a bit more, the need to, not overplan. I wonder where would have been if we had started this podcast in what was it, 2018 or God knows when we had initially sort of talked about that. So it's a learning lesson, but generally I'm also just so grateful and I'm proud of myself. And of course, proud of you and proud of us for what we have done. And I'm looking forward to what the rest of the journey looks like. And one of the things that we said is that we will take this first episode to reintroduce ourselves and just talk a bit more about ourselves. So I'd love to hand it over to Stella. I don't know how you'd love to introduce yourself because we didn't particularly talk about prompts, but feel free to share, who Stella is, the things that you're passionate about, maybe the work that you do. And of course, it's open-ended in true African nature. When you have the mic is yours. You talk about what you want to talk about. So ignore my prompts and my script and take the floor.
My name is Stella Ndirito, and I am God's favorite child, God's daughter. I think that forms the basis of who I am. have a story about
Another
that.
TikTok one that you don't know.
No, I do not, but I have a story about it.
Okay.
And that forms the basis of my life and my existence. In terms of what I do and what sets my soul on fire is to be in spaces like this. And the fact that we're actually filming in a space that truly molded me into the kind of person I am and the kind of youth worker that I am also reminds me that, it's quite a journey. It's quite a journey with Fields, so journey and Fields. Yeah, so I like to describe myself as a feminist social justice champion. And so everything that I do revolves around that. So you'll find me in spaces where we're talking about gender justice. You'll find me in spaces where we are centering women and girls to talk about development and talk about what is happening in the socioeconomic and political spaces. And so in line with that, I founded an organization called Dada Power, which you know so well about. And we exist to mentor teen girls and young women. And I found myself doing so many things around that, which, and that's how we found ourselves here, to create a space where young women come and are inspired to believe in themselves and to do whatever they want to do. Yeah, that's it about me. What do I do for fun? We're just from talking about shows right now. So yeah, watching shows that make me sort of forget whatever is happening around me and give me a good laugh. Spending time with my loved ones, my family, my friends, and doing things that are in line with what I believe in and in line with my purpose and what I feel that God really brought me to this world to do. And I'm such a lover of conversations. I know that I love disruptive spaces. So you'll most likely find me challenging the status quo. And walking the journey with girls and young women to believe in themselves, to speak their minds. And sometimes I found myself in trouble because of that. But I am not promising that I will not, that I will stop. So that we are here today and now entering into season 2 is also part of who I am. That you start something and you continue up until you feel that, we've lived out our purpose and we were really meant to be here. We were here. We were here.
I mean, I feel like that whole intro, copy and paste, and then remove Stella's name, remove maybe founding Dada Power, because, I mean, twin, where have you been? But anyway, there's just so much that is so similar about us. I mean, I am Mwende Muya. I am just a girl. Let me just say that first. I feel like I am just someone who is living life and navigating by the day. I am coming to appreciate myself more. And part of that is just from, being around people, and there are things that people tell you and you're like, oh, really? Okay, that's me. Yeah. One of the things that people assume me to be is an extrovert. But I have come to realize that actually I have a lot more introvert tendencies. So so we are talking about ourselves. So that's one of the things that I have come to realize. I feel like I get a lot of energy from people. However, I think if you asked me, and this is going back to like what you like for fun, I think I really love my time indoors. In fact, like today, we've just alluded to a show that we were talking about. When is this episode going out? Yeah, it's still relevant. If you're currently watching the Love is Blind season, you just know how this is a season where you wish you had all day to watch all episodes continuously. But like right now, I'm dreaming about how I can't wait to go to bed so that I go continue with those episodes. But yeah, I mean, for me, I gain a lot of energy by just being by myself. Weirdly enough, even when we're in crowds, I will socialize, and then afterwards I'll just be like, hey, I need to retreat. But anyway, I have digressed and digressed and digressed. Back to the start. I am a lawyer by training, or rather by training, although that is not what I do professionally. I think for me, even why we call this podcast The Journey and Fields, when it comes to my career, the title of this podcast is a true definition of the journey that I've had career-wise. Because, I mean, when people think about lawyers and advocates, it's that you're supposed to be in court, in a suit. I can't tell you the last time I wore a suit. This is the closest that I have to a suit. See, zinafanana. It's the closest that I have to a suit. But yeah, I studied law, but I chose a very different path. And it is because luckily I worked throughout campus and I realized I really don't want to be doing conveyancing. I don't think I felt like I really wanted to be going to court. I think I really wanted to do meaningful work directly with people. And of course, that's not saying that that profession, they do not do that, because I mean, we know that advocates are very important. They change people's lives, honestly. And everyone needs an advocate on speed dial. They say you need an advocate, a doctor, a police officer, a mentor, of course. Okay, there's a lot more things. Eh? A mech, yeah. Those, I mean, when you talk about some of the professions where you need someone and someone needs to be in your circle, it's one of them. But I think for me, I wanted to do meaningful work. And when I was in campus, I worked throughout campus. So I had the chance to work in corporate law. I had the chance to work in the not-for-profit sector. And I think that's where my spirit was. And I remember my sister just telling me, you don't have to force it if it's not working, because at that time she's in the same profession, or rather she's an advocate, and I would go to her office, and I'm telling you, they could see that the life is being drained out of me. So I have a high passion for working with people, and I really genuinely just enjoyed being in a space where I'm learning with people, disruptive spaces, working with a journey with people where they realize that this is where we need to be, because I kind of feel like that's the bulk of the work that I have been doing career-wise. And right now I work with not-for-profit organizations and social enterprises, pretty much supporting them so that they're able to serve more of their communities. And that is in summary. Other than that, things that I love to do, I think I love reading books. I've talked about this in previous episodes and how I barely get enough time to read the book, so I feel bad about it, but I've done a better job. If we were to track that goal, I can tell you the past like 2 months, I have read at least 2 books each month. So that is progress, and it's me going back to the things that I love. I think I love being with children. I feel like I learn so much from kids, and their energy is so infectious. Children are inquisitive, children are learners, children are, like, to them, they see the world half full rather than half empty. And I think I want to gain back that childlike energy, because so much is happening in the world and it takes a toll. Because I'm a very positive person. Like, I think I'm one of those people who tries, when I'm in a space with people, my mind always thinks about the positives. That's how I relate with people. But of course, we live in a world where these things take a toll on you. So I want to be able to come back to that childlike energy, and just see the world as a world of opportunities rather than as a world of challenges, or of a world that is bringing people down, and situations, yeah, down. Please tell us what you'd love to know about us. If it's things that we can share, we will share. But no, but we are not committing, because yeah, just make it appropriate.
What do you do for
Yeah.
self-care?
What do I do for self-care? That's a good question. Once in a while, I will perambulate. So you might see me outside somewhere. Once in a long while. But also that's because of, I love hanging out with my friends. Like, to me, that's self-care. Like, even if it's 2 hours, that laughing that we will laugh, like, that's enough for me. So that's one of the main ways. Something that now I'm realizing I'm starting to do more for self-care, which means that I'm starting to love it, is going to the gym. For a very long time, because I had a weight loss target, or like I had something in mind in terms of why I was going to the gym. At that time, gym for me was weight loss related. But I think gym for me now is like unwinding, relaxing, pushing myself. I know relaxing and uko hapo unafosiwa kuinua chuma. But yeah, it's starting to be like that for me. Of course, there's the books. And then I think the other thing is, I'm a thinker. So you'll find me, I'm the kind of person who, when I'm free or when I'm curious about something, I will go into ChatGPT and equivalents to be like, oh, tell me more about this. Yeah. And something that I also love and that I consider self-care, watching reality shows. I was going to use another word, but yeah, watching reality shows. I think that's like, I love it. I can't wait. In fact, I'm on leave next week, and best believe I've already put down a list. So those are some of the ways that I find myself unwinding.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I also work out. I'm beginning to understand my relationship with the gym, like everyday gym. I think it's not working for me. So I'm doing my best to bring gym at home. But yeah, working out is definitely a form of my self-care. The other one is silent time with myself, silent time with God, just reflecting. And yeah, journaling and reflections definitely go together. But yeah, unplugging from everything, social media, work, family and friends, and just focusing on, the inner person, the internal work. Yeah. All right.
I mean, journaling is so interesting to me. Like every time I try, I think my mind is normally just a busy mind because now I'm like, oh, write about your feelings. And I mean, sometimes that's the same journey with therapy. And I'm glad that I found like one therapist because for the longest time, therapy, it used to be a struggle for me because you start a journey with a therapist, you realize, okay, this is not the person for me, I need to find another. And then you have to go through the whole process again. It's like dating, starting again. This is me and these are my problems. I struggled so much with, actually, I think what I struggle with is stillness. It's a muscle that I am trying to train. For me, sometimes I struggle with journaling. There are days like I can even write 5 pages. There are days my mind is just like, where do we even start from? Because you're thinking about A to Z. One of the things that I started doing, which consistency I have not managed yet. However, I try. I try that every day before I sleep, I have a jar where I have 2 jars. One jar is like just put all the good things that have happened to you today. So yeah, whether it's that what, I have slept the whole day. That's a good thing, yeah. Then I put in a jar what are all the things that you want to rant about that you didn't like about today. Honestly, I'm not consistent with that, but I would say that I do at least 4 days a week. And that to me is like my small ways of getting into journaling because I know the importance of writing things down. And I used to be a writer. In fact, I don't know what happened. I mean, I used to be writing for magazines and so on and so forth. So, yeah, journaling to me is very, very interesting. Let's see, maybe by the time we start season 3, I'll be like, oh, at least I've managed to be able to spend some quiet time with myself and really think and really, yeah. It's work in progress.
Yeah, and maybe sometimes we
that.
overthink it because
Yeah.
you don't have to always have a book and note and pen. You can even journal using audio on your phone,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
just so that like you're capturing your reflections. Because one of my mentors was telling me the other day that many times we're so busy with work, and then when you finish work, you're doing entertainment. You're on your screen, you forget, like you actually need to unplug and listen. Just listen to your soul, listen to yourself, and just write, yeah, what are you thinking, and how is that influencing how you're doing things, or to even measure yourself and see, have I been okay?
Yeah.
If I'm not okay, what is making me not be okay? And if I'm okay, what are some of the factors that have made me feel this okay? Am I resting more? Am I refusing to be more anxious by doing things and practices that make me feel grounded? Do I need to work out more? Do I need to do some breathing exercises so that I'm at ease? Yeah. So perhaps we need to change how we look at journaling and not maybe how we see it being done, perhaps on the
Yeah.
internet and,
Yeah. And that being said, then I think there's something I need to go back to. I had like a Dear Diary private Instagram account. I need to go back to it because that's the one that I used to just open wherever I was. In fact, it's very private because I do not allow external people to follow that account. But if I go back to those videos, some of them, even the way my hair looks, because it's like I've just woken up and I feel like I have something to say. I need to go back to it because I'm hoping that can be a resource that I pass on to my kids if I end up having kids. But if I don't, I mean, well, I can pass on to any other young people out there. And, they just see the reflections of a normal young woman. Yeah, so just switching out to something else, I'd love to hear from you how you feel like season 1 went. What are some of the thoughts and reflections that you have when you think about season 1?
First of all, one of the best things for me about season 1 was I got out of my mind. I think I was so much in my mind worrying about non-issues. And I just want to encourage everybody who is struggling to start something that imagine you're struggling with something that is actually not a big deal. You just need to get out of your mind. One of the things that I don't like about myself is I don't like to watch myself and I don't like to listen to myself. And the thing about doing this together is that you have to listen and you have to watch yourself, whether you like it or not, because you're the one telling the production team, okay, this is fine, we're not good to go. And by the time we did when we watched the first episode, I was like, it's even not that bad, you know. And then people started to watch and they tell you, you know, I'm really learning about what you're doing. So that was my highlight, that, yeah, get out of your mind and live out your purpose and create the spaces that you need to create, or even show up in spaces that you need to show up in, because you don't know who you're inspiring. You don't know how you're even transforming yourself by just believing in yourself. That said, I had so many favorite moments for season 1. And my favorite episode is actually 20s versus 30s, our 20s versus 30s. And now looking back, I'm like, it's so interesting how life evolves. Literally, do you know that we just spent 2 hours, more than 2 hours ago together, and you're even a different person now, you know? So when we fail to document things, then we actually lose out so much more, because then you don't get to see how much you've grown as a person. And so that episode, just looking at how life was in our 20s and now how it is in our 30s, it made me appreciate, that life is moving. And so again, why are we spending lots of time worrying about what people will say? How will I appear? How will I look? Do I have a flat tummy? Am I speaking the way I should speak? You know, there are people who critique my voice. So what do they say? Why are we spending so much time worrying about what people will say, or even worrying about how I will perceive myself? Perhaps we need to place our purpose and God's purpose in our lives higher than how we perceive ourselves, or higher than how other people perceive us. So it's been a great journey, and I was so looking forward to season 2 more than I did in season 1. And that just says, again, just start and you will see, you'll appreciate the journey more.
Yeah. And do you feel like you feel confident now? Do you feel more confident in yourself as a podcaster, let's say that, now that we are starting season 2?
Yeah, first, I can't even believe that we can now say I'm a podcaster.
I've forgotten that.
We should be introducing ourselves. We just reintroduced ourselves and we didn't even say that. Absolutely. I feel more confident. In fact, I felt more confident recording episode 3 than I did in episode 1 and even episode 2. True. And again, it's a reminder that the more you do it, the better you get. If you stammer, if you are very anxious when you step on stage to talk, you know, public speaking, you will do better tomorrow than you did today. So the earlier you start, the better. So I feel so much confident. Yourself.
I also have like similar reflections. First of all, I love what you've said about, you know, center God's purpose first for you. And anytime you're going through whatever challenges or you're trying to figure something out, remind yourself that there is a higher being out there that is, you know, right behind you, if not in front of you, as you do what you're doing. So even if you fail, it's part of the plan, because that's supposed to be a lesson for you in whatever way. So I really, really love that. And I relate to, you know, not liking watching yourself. I don't even for this season, I just know when that link is sent, let me tell you the anxiety that I would have. That whole day, I'm like, hey, I need to listen to this. It's so unnerving, but I'm glad that either way, it was a process of being, you know, comfortable with the uncomfortable. So we don't like hearing ourselves speak. Imagine what we have to do it. We have no choice. For you to be watching this episode, Stella and I had to watch it first. We had to be like, I don't like the face that I made. I don't like whatever. And it's like, really, the things that she will notice about herself are not even, I'll be like, hey, that's what you thought. That's strange. So, that was definitely a very similar experience. For me, my biggest lesson with season 1, as you've said, the just start bit, it just showed me how, you know, once you start something, you're quicker to knowing whether it will work or not. And, you know, I keep asking myself, even Alexander Bell and all these people who found things, discovered things, innovated things, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, when he was starting Facebook. I mean, I wonder if they hesitated, you know, the Facebook was very important in our lives. Like, imagine a life where we didn't have Facebook. Would there be Instagram? Would there be the TikTok that I enjoy so much right now? Would there be AI? We never know. So yeah, like, I think that whole season to me was a reminder. It was like the wake up call. It was the like, wake up. Because I used to sit and wallow in so many ideas. And for me, us starting that podcast was me showing up for myself, which is like, so my biggest lesson from it is just, you know, just show up for yourself. Like, you're doing yourself an injustice, because look at what we've created. I mean, we are not the biggest podcasters out there, but like, we are proud of what we've done. And it doesn't, like, for us, it's not even about numbers. It's just about, you know, the experience, the putting out the content there, the feedback that we normally get. And just going back to talking about the things that we used to worry about, it's so interesting. One of the people in our community offered to do like a case study for us and a form of like a questionnaire. So she created some questions and reached out to a few people that are in our space to do like a survey and ask people, you know, how are you feeling about this season one? What are your thoughts? What recommendations do you have for them? And I can tell you for a fact, over 95% of the things that she gave us in feedback were not any of the things that we were worried about, actually. So when we were like, I'm not sure I said the right thing, I'm not sure, you know, none of those things came up. So, and that's also just to show that even for us, we are trying to be very intentional to learn and just be better, do better for this podcast, improve the experience, of course, for everyone that's watching or listening in. But I think that's just showing how we really like were so intentional when we decided to start this podcast. For me, weirdly enough, I love the 20s versus 30s episode. But that's like more so on a personal level, as you've said, because it really helped me reflect and be like, actually, all the things that I used to be worried about, they're not issues right now. Like, I've done so much more. And by the way, it's important. Maybe everyone should go and do that kind of exercise, like a quick reflective exercise, to look at all the things that you were wishing for yourself and were worried for yourself when you were younger, and everything that you've achieved now. So that was a good episode for me. But my best episode was the We the People episode, just because we really had talked about how we want to do a lot of rights-based content. And we were like, you know, we don't know how we will do it. And we don't know, you know, whether it will make sense. And I think for me, that episode was like, actually, you can do this. So it really, I feel like when we did that episode, that's when me and you started taking more risks, if you remember it. We were like, actually, this episode went so well, so let's try and have, you know, those difficult discussions that we wanted to have. And for that particular reason, that's why it's one of my favorite episodes. Yeah.
And it was special in different ways. I mean, we were hosting for the very first
Yeah.
time, and then we went beyond the challenges we were facing, because that day there was no power. So we had to go look for another alternative. So I mean, again, another lesson, you know, just don't focus on the hurdles, you know, don't focus on the barriers or the challenges. We are not saying that there won't be challenges. There will be, but look beyond those challenges and move, you know. Yeah. But yeah, cheers to season one, that we are done, and
10 episodes.
and that we are building a community. You know, even just looking at the guests that are coming up in the season, I mean, you can just tell that, you know, people are buying into this whole idea and this whole vision. And that means so much to us. So thank you everyone who is subscribed and who is following and supporting us. Yeah. So season 2, what should we look forward to? What should our community look forward to? What are some of your expectations and some of your aspirations for the whole season? Yeah.
I mean, at least 10 more episodes and 10 opportunities for me to hear myself talking back. Hooray! Yeah. Anyway, let me be serious.
Very nice.
Yeah, I can already see those at least 10 inducing moments when that link has been sent. Anyway, see, let me not dwell on there, but it's not a negative anyway. I'm just making light of the situation. I mean, for us, season 2 is bold. Season 2 is audacious. Season 2 is for us to continue experimenting. We want to have a lot more rights-based type of conversations. We want to have a lot more guests. We want to challenge ourselves to have the difficult conversations. We want to see if the sky is not the limit, what can we possibly do? So we have a lot of ideas for this season. We've changed some things around which you will notice, but we will sort of allude to as we go along. And maybe Stella can talk a bit more about some of the differences that you'll notice from season 1 and season 2. But I would say, for me, I just see this as an opportunity, one, to continue showing up for myself. Like, whether me, I'm using this podcast as professional personal and professional development, because first of all, the amount of reading that we normally have to do before a session, already that's a lot of learning for me. But even outside of that, I'm using it as personal development to be like, I just need to do the things that are difficult. This is the safest space for me to do this, because this is a space that we've co-created together. You know, it's not like here there's an employer and there's like limits and whatever. So, you know, whatever the two of us agree upon, we shall do. And like, I'm really just looking forward to seeing the kind of growth that I end up having. Already just from season 1, overthinking reduced by like 80%, because yeah, it was inevitable that some things have to be put out there. So I can only imagine what season 2 will be, for us, and also now for me, like as an individual, and my skills, my growth, myself, my journey, my reflection.
Yeah. Wow, that's exciting. And you put me on the spot there.
Yeah.
So what we want, in a nutshell, our hope and our intention is that you, our community, get to connect more with us and get to see where we are creating the content that we are creating and why we even started this platform. And so, yeah, look out for some of the changes. I won't mention any. But also, please tell us, what do you want to see different? What do you want to hear or watch? What do you want to learn? And actually, would you like us to host you as well? And what exactly do you, what space are you in? And what kind of content would you also like to share with us? Yeah. Season 2, it's exciting already. What I'm looking forward to is the different conversations, especially on rights issues that we have lined up. As well as putting into action a strategy by our lovely friend who generously took the time to analyze what we are doing and also, you know, listen to different people and hear what more can we do. I think we are coming back. No, I know we are coming back better and stronger. We've had experience from the other season, and we're also talking to different people. We plan to talk to different podcasters as well. So yeah, we want it to be as engaging as possible, as interactive as possible, and as bold as possible. Yeah.
And fun. Let's not forget fun. Fun is number one. Everything else, everything else follows. And also, just the other thing is that, you've alluded to also strategy. I think for us, we are just trying to create a space that it serves all, for lack of a better word. A space that when you come tune into an episode, you leave feeling informed or light or challenged, or you leave happy, you leave being like, that was a good use of my 20 minutes, 1 hour, depending on the length of episodes. And just as Stella mentioned, we listen to your feedback, so keep sharing it. We want to grow. I mean, as we've mentioned, for us, this is also us challenging ourselves to be better people. So even though we are doing this because we are passionate, like, there's a bigger thing. We have a responsibility, one, to ourselves, but also to you as our audience. So we the only way we will get better is by hearing back from you.
Yeah. So yeah, look forward to more episodes of us. And we also look forward to you telling us what you'd like to hear. And yeah, cheers to season 2.
Imaginary champagne glasses.
Cheers.
And see you all.
Bye.
Bye.